Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Kameel Majdali.
It's a question that every Christian believer asks. How do I handle temptation? How do I handle those trials? Will God truly be faithful when I'm going through those things? If we're trying to get an idea of the overall big picture on handling temptation, Kameel, how do we look at those issues?
It's really important to be close to God, because if you're distant from God, it's sort of like, put it this way, it reminds me when I went to Bali the first time, and I was swimming, as the water at Bali is like the temperature of a bathtub. And I'm thinking, this is really warm water, how nice. And before I knew it, I was way far from the shore. There was an undertow that had carried me out. Thank God I was strong enough swimmer to get back, and I didn't panic. But I remember this feeling, wait a minute, where is everybody else here? I'm all on my own. We cannot afford to have what we call a lack of awareness of our situation, or call it be situationally aware. This applies in the spiritual as much as it does in the natural. Many people are sleeping, many people are drunk, and we mean that in a spiritual, metaphorical way. It is time to wake up, be aware of what's going on, and then get close to God.
And Jesus taught us to pray. He said in the Lord's Prayer, lead us not into temptation. So it's something we ought to regularly revisit. So we've got an awareness of this context you're talking about.
That's absolutely correct. We should be praying, not only that we're not led into temptation, but that we are delivered from the evil one. I do believe there's promises of escape found in God. I do believe there's promises of a refuge in God. Not because we're scaredy cats and we can't handle life. On the contrary, it's wisdom. If you knew there was a storm coming, do you want to stand there in the middle of the field and take it on? Or do you want to get to a place where you'll be kept dry and safe? I'm talking about in a storm. Well, of course, anybody with a brain in their head would want to get into a place of safety and dryness, as it were. I believe God provides this. It doesn't mean you will never be tempted again if you go into this place or that place. But what it does mean is that you're enjoying the full benefit of walking with the Lord. Think of King David. If any man faced danger again and again and again, it was David. The miracle of David, I've been saying of late, is that he died in his bed. He didn't die at the end of somebody's sword. He died in his bed. And you consider he had Saul, he had Philistines, he had Edomites, Ammonites. The reason I believe David died in his bed and not as a victim of some very, very clever soldier is because he knew Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. Because God was his shepherd, he had everything he needed, and God, as it were, led him through the valley of death, and he feared no evil.
And Kameel, the idea of facing trials and temptations, isn't that the source of the testimonies that we tell that give glory to God?
Absolutely. When you overcome, you can give testimony and glory to God, and it's going to build up many people so that when they face difficulty, they'll remember you and they will draw strength.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Kameel Majdali from Teach All Nations. For more from Dr. Majdali, including books and DVDs on prophecy, Bible commentaries, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future, go to vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.